instructor? Why do you move so often? I wouldn't ever carry it. Why do you advocate against sidecars? So I usually film things in a studio setting, but this is my studio right now. We just moved from like one part of Georgia to another part of Georgia. And so I decided this week I'm going to do a Q&A with you guys, and I'm gonna sit outside and crack open a hard kombucha. It's raining like a lot, and it's kind of loud. So, probably gonna have to sit inside. Okay, we're gonna have to go ahead and park it in the only room in the house that we've really like put anything in, and that's our room. Because if I film anywhere else in this house, it's gonna be super echoey because it's just empty. So, hi. This is a super casual video, Q&A that I asked you guys some questions. I did a little question box on Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, hop over there. And if this is your first time ever on the channel, this is totally not how my channel usually is. Usually in a studio doing all that, but super casual. We just moved and I don't have a studio set up. So, hey guys, I am going to be answering some of your questions and drinking a hard kombucha. This is Flying Embers. It doesn't taste like kombucha. I couldn't even tell you what it tastes like. It's like a mixture of beer and, oh, that's gonna sound gross. I was gonna say beer and juice, but you guys will probably think that sounds really gross. I promise it's not gross. So the first question is, why do you move so often? We move so often because my husband's in the military, and we've had a little bit of like an unconventional experience. We've moved a total of 6 times in the last 4 years after this move we just did. So we move a lot because my husband's in the military. What appendix holsters do you recommend for women? Holsters for men versus women really aren't any different. The safety requirements are going to be the same. Concealment principles are the same. For me personally, I carry in a Enigma Express every single day, and the reason that I carry in that is not because I'm a woman, it's because it meets all of the requirements. It meets safety requirements, it conceals really well, I can place it independently from my pants, so I can wear it in dresses like this, I can wear it in skirts, in short shorts, in whatever, and it just kind of works with whatever I'm doing, but that's not just a women's holster. My husband carries an Enigma, so specifically for ladies, I wouldn't say that there's really anything I can think of. Maybe a flashbang. If you're looking for a ladies specific holster, you could probably say the flashbang is just for the ladies because it attaches to your bra and it meets the safety requirements. It is a full Kydex holster. It fully protects the trigger. And Annette Evans over on her own has some really, really great content on the flashbang, and I would recommend checking out her stuff if you want to learn more about that. What red dot do you like / recommend? So I have carried HoloSens. I've shot a number of them. I don't even know that I could tell you all the ones that I've shot, just because friends have let me shoot their guns and stuff. But HoloSen I like because they're affordable. Like I'm not spending what I would spend to buy a gun on just an optic like I would be with Trijicon. So I like that it's affordable. They also can be really, really reliable. If you want to see HoloSens pressure tested, I'm sure you can find some really useful content over on Sage Dynamics channel where he pressure tests stuff like that. But I just have had good experiences with them. They've been really reliable for me. And my favorite one is, I don't know that I could tell you that I care for the 407 or the 507K. I might lean more towards the 407K because I just shoot with the dot, and having the higher MOA is nice, and it's also just less expensive. But Holosun is coming out with an EPS carry, and that has a closed emitter, and that's really interesting to me. I haven't gotten my hands on one yet, but I'm really, really interested in trying the EPS. Gun safes you recommend? I don't actually, one of them is right below me under the bed right now. So my first handgun safe, I got from V-Line safes, and that has just been like a hardy, awesome tool. One of my favorite things to use that specific safe for that I got initially is that it's pretty heavy, but it's still somewhat portable. I wouldn't necessarily want to take it on a plane with me, but whenever we're driving somewhere for a class or we're driving somewhere for vacation, I bring that handgun safe with me because it's really easy. I don't need to worry about a key. I know the code and I can just put my gun in it at night, and I can be sure that none of the kids in the house or really anyone who's an unauthorized user in the house can get to my gun when I'm not wearing it in the evenings and early mornings. I recently did just get a safe from V-Line that they did send to me, and that one's different. It's like a drawer, which has been really nice to have for under the bed because I can just pull the drawer out and put my gun in it, or pull the drawer out and get my gun out in the morning. So it's nice to be able to have that easy access, but know that it's also inaccessible. Okay, the next question is, why do you advocate against sidecars? So if you don't know what sidecars are, it's a holster that has the magazine carrier physically attached to it. There's a couple different kinds. A lot of companies make the magazine and the holster itself attached through some kind of like, not paracord, but like a stretchy cord material. Others, it's just one large Kydex piece that's kind of bended in a little bit. And there's a couple of reasons that I don't advocate for them anymore. So I carried in a sidecar for a year. And for the first several months of doing armed and styled stuff, I was recommending sidecars. And one thing that I don't know that a lot of people realize, whether they're somebody who is on social media, doing social media stuff, or if they're watching people on social media and learning from them or gaining things from them, is that when somebody recommends a brand or a product, they inadvertently become a brand ambassador in some way, shape, or form. So what wound up happening was that I'm recommending this holster to people, and people are buying it. And that's great because I felt like it worked really well for me. And then I start getting tons and tons of messages from people with them asking me to help them troubleshoot, which I'm more than happy to do. If you ever have questions about anything I'm recommending or anything you just have and you're struggling with, shoot me a message and I'm happy to help you if I can. But I was getting a lot of messages from people, and I was able to help them troubleshoot through a lot of the issues. A lot of concealment issues are just placement problems, like maybe you're just not placing it right where it needs to be for your body, and there's ways that you can work through that. But I did start to kind of meet where the rubber where the rubber meets the road with people, where I would do everything I could to help them work through the concealment problems they were facing. And it became super apparent that it was a flaw in the design of the type of holster. And that's when it was like, it clicked for me. And although the sidecar can work for me, it tends to work pretty okay for people who have a more athletic build. It does not work for everyone, and it truly doesn't. And it's not optimal because the pieces are attached. So whether you have something that doesn't bend or you do have something that bends, either way, the pieces are attached. And when you're doing dynamic movement throughout your day, the entire rig that is probably about this large is trying to move with your whole body, instead of having a magazine carrier and a gun holster moving with your body any which way that it needs to, instead of this one large piece trying to move. So not only can it be uncomfortable with dynamic movement and things like that, but also because the two pieces are attached, no matter what you do, even if they are attached with some kind of cording material and they can stretch and move, no matter what you do, they are always attached right there in the middle. And that's going to inhibit your ability to tuck the grip of your gun in or tuck the slide of your gun in. There's just a lot less options for movement and for customization and placement customization, that I think that a sidecar can technically work for a really small group of people, but it's certainly not optimal. And so it became really apparent to me that I shouldn't be recommending it to people anymore. And I corrected that and I learned from that. And I guess that was just kind of a lesson that I had to learn, and I don't recommend sidecars anymore because of it. That was a really, really long version of that, and I'm sorry, but if you were interested in that answer, it does come up a lot. So I wanted to truly answer that question. Okay, the next question is, how do you clear some malfunctions when you carry no extra mag? I would say that, and I'm not saying this on my own merit. I'm saying this because there are people out there that know a lot, infinitely more than I do, who have relayed this information to me. And as I understand it, the vast majority of malfunctions that you're going to encounter with a modern day semi-automatic handgun, with a well-treated magazine, like you haven't beat it to crap and dropped it on hard surfaces and all of those things, the vast majority of the time, you're going to be able to clear those malfunctions by racking the slide. Sometimes you do have to strip the mag out, but that is not necessarily indicative of the fact that a magazine is having a catastrophic failure. So basically, if what I'm saying in a nutshell is a large portion of the malfunctions that you're going to encounter are either, induced by you, whether it's limp wristing or you're kind of under stress and you're not gripping the gun properly. All of those things are induced by you and can be fixed by racking the slide. And yeah, sometimes you do have to strip the magazine out, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the magazine is having a catastrophic failure. So sometimes you have to strip the magazine out, but you can put it right back in and go back to work. I have had 2 catastrophic magazine malfunctions where my magazine straight up exploded. One of those times, the magazine was in my gun, in my holster, chilling on my waistband after shooting a 2-day class, and it exploded. It was really exciting. And I don't carry those magazines. That was a +5 extension Shield Arms mag, and I have talked to Shield Arms about it, and basically I got a batch from a bad heat treat. They've replaced all those magazines, but I don't carry Shield Arms mags anymore. I just carry the OEM mags in my Glock 48. So that's one of the other things, is mitigating risk by making sure that your magazine is in good condition and not using your carry mag for range use. My carry mags are carry mags, and they are only that. So for me, spare magazine is not a priority. I can link some videos down in the description that might be really helpful for kind of explaining more in depth on why that is. But other things like pepper spray, a tourniquet, a trauma kit, I'm carrying trauma shears. Those things are a much higher priority to me than carrying a spare magazine, because the likelihood of me having a catastrophic failure with my magazine in a self-defense encounter is just super duper low. So do with that what you will. Okay. Who is your favorite instructor and why? I don't think I can answer this question. It's that's somebody asking, I guess that you can ask someone what's your favorite food? But when you get asked that question, if you could only eat one thing on an island for the rest of your life, what would it be? And everyone has their thing. I love pumpkin pie and I love chicken curry. I just do. But I also enjoy other things like sushi, and what else do I like? I like lots of things. And so sometimes you're craving sushi, and sometimes you want, I love burgers. You're craving burgers and waffle fries. Sometimes you need some Chick-fil-A in your life, and sometimes you want to go out to a fancy dinner and get some bougie mahi-mahi with your significant other. Wow, that really turned into a food question. What I'm trying to say is that I would say I have favorite instructors, or instructors that I'm excited to go back to for specific topics. So for kind of going back over all of the really, really important things to know for concealed carry, and just I couldn't even sum up this class, really. You need to just watch the summary video that I did on John Murphy's Street Encounters course. That was such an amazing class. I just want to take that over and over again. Just once a year, go back and take that class again. But if I want to go and learn how to shoot really well, gun handling, shooting well, I'm gonna go to a Tim Herron class. Like, I had so much fun at Tim Herron's class, but I also walked away like a better shooter after 2 days of, after the end of day one, or like halfway through day one, I was a better shooter with one of Tim Herron's classes. But I honestly don't think that I could say I have a favorite instructor. I can't answer your question, but I will say, like, if I want to go to an instructor for, like, OC spray, I'm going to go to Chuck Haggard. If I want to go learn how to shoot really well, I'm going to go to Tim Herron. You know, like, there's certain instructors that I would be excited to go to for specific things, if that makes sense.
Hello.
Hey. Okay, so I'm making a Q&A, and one of the questions is something that I can't really answer. It's, how do you concealed carry when you're a breastfeeding mom and you need to pull up your shirt in public to feed?
I typically will pull my camisole out from behind my gun.
Yeah.
And put it over the top of my gun.
Okay.
And then pull my shirt up, and I don't try to fumble with what's going on underneath my shirt too much. I'll do that real quick and, like, pull my boob out underneath my cover shirt.
Okay.
And then get the baby latched on. And usually when I'm pulling my shirt up, it's like a super flowy top.
Yeah.
But
so it almost acts like a cover.
Yeah, it does. It almost acts like a breastfeeding cover.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the only thing that you really have to do is sometimes you have to change your wardrobe for those kind of specific things. Carrying a gun and breastfeeding a baby and baby wearing are all very specific, and you just have to, you might have to change what your tops are, unfortunately.
Yeah. Like, sometimes your lifestyle, or like the season of life you're in, especially with that, is like, that, like, breastfeeding in and of itself and, like, having a baby is a thing, but then also carrying a gun is a thing. And so doing both of those things, like, one of those things on their own could potentially warrant changing your wardrobe. Both of those things combined might kind of, would you say would certainly make it easier to try to cater your wardrobe a little bit more towards that, like, really niche season of life?
Yeah, 100%. Cool. I think that it's definitely worth the investment in yourself, finding a few tops that you feel fit the need for that season of life.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thoughts on revolvers as concealed carry weapons? My first gun that I ever bought with concealed carry in mind was indeed a revolver. I did not ever carry it because when I bought that gun, I shouldn't even say I bought that gun. My husband helped me pick out that gun, and he bought me that gun. And it was not the traditional, like, a little revolver for the little lady kind of thing. It wasn't like that. I very much had a vote in the process, and I absolutely I wanted a revolver. The recoil just felt way more doable for me because there wasn't, like, a slide reciprocating. It felt like there was a lot less going on for me as a brand new shooter, so revolvers can be awesome. Revolvers can absolutely be great. If you want to see, like, practical concealed carry with revolvers, go check out Caleb Gidding's YouTube channel and his Instagram. He carries revolvers. He does revolver things. I'd eventually like to, like, meet him in person and try to do some kind of video thing. But I don't have a ton of experience with revolvers. I think they can be awesome concealed carry guns. And I probably would like to do that eventually, but I'm still trying to figure out what main gun I'm really excited about carrying, because the Glock 48 is a lot of gun for me to carry, but it's really nice to shoot. And the P365 is still, like, it's concealable. It's a very concealable, and it's shootable, but not nearly as shoot as my 48. So, guns. Preferences. Things. Revolvers are fine as concealed carry guns. The next question is, have you shot a Walther PDP and did you like it? I have not shot a Walther PDP. I haven't shot any Walthers, and I know that I need to and I want to. I just haven't really, like, sought that out just yet. But I will say the Walther PDP-F that came out a couple of months ago, everyone seems to be having really positive experiences with it. I'm seeing a ton of really positive reviews. I haven't shot one yet. But one thing I do want to say is that, you know, it's marketed towards ladies, and as I understand it, they did a really good job of actually including a lot of female shooters in on the design process of that gun and actually really put a lot of effort into making it really optimized for lady hands. I don't really know what lady hands are. Do we really have lady hands? I don't know. But they did a good job of doing all of the things. As far as I know, I haven't shot one yet. What I'm trying to say is that when you look up the size of that gun compared to other concealed carry guns, it's not necessarily words are hard. It's a large gun for concealed carry. Even my husband, who's not necessarily a small dude, doesn't carry a gun that large. So the PDP-F I wouldn't ever carry it, but I'm sure I could really enjoy shooting it. I've only heard amazing things. Holy moly, it's getting dark in here. I'm going to take you guys outside now because it's not raining, but it's overcast just enough that there's not enough light coming into this room. Okay, we're finishing this out here. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is gonna be such a long video. If you're still here and you're still watching this, you're great. This is great. Great. Okay. The next question is, what advice would you give a 20-year-old who wants to practice self-defense with limited options due to age requirements? Shooting a gun well is not hard. The hard part is learning when it's okay to use it, when you ought to, when you shouldn't, when it's time for a less lethal tool like OC spray or all of those things. Like, there's so much to learn before you carry a gun. And so, and learning how to shoot one is the easiest part of all of it. So if you can start taking classes, if you can do some martial arts, if you can do some boxing, you can take classes and audit them. If you aren't allowed to have a gun for whatever reason, or you don't have one, you can go to something like John Murphy's Street Encounters course or something like that, where you can audit a course and learn so much and not even have to shoot. And if you do have a firearm and you just can't carry one, you can dry fire like nobody's business and learn so much just from dry fire, as long as you're practicing the right things. If you're not practicing the right things, like, practice makes perfect is like the biggest lie ever told. Like, practice absolutely does not make perfect. It's important to be practicing the right way. And so if getting into classes is an option for you, please do that. And if not, I will go ahead and link some stuff down in the description. Oh my goodness, it's starting to rain. It's getting so loud. Videos that you can watch to learn more, or websites you can go to learn more. Langdon Tactical is doing a kind of discover side of their business where they're just teaching people how to do stuff, and it's amazing. If you're new to this whole realm, please go check out their stuff. I have to end this video here because the rain is getting loud. It's too dark inside and I don't have a studio. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you really did stick around to the end, you're the bestest. Things are a little bit slow around here with content creation right now because I'm just trying to get moved into this house. We're so thankful to be here just outside of Savannah, Georgia. It's beautiful here. I'm gonna have to bid you adieu. It's super loud. So thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next one.